I look down and I see myself standing in a very gentle river. And all around me is a very beautiful, very peaceful forest. And this is where it gets hard to describe because it was a rush of it was everything wrapped into one. Looking around at the forest, I was having the experience of remembering it and knowing it was my true home, like my truest home. And feeling immense awe and bliss and love and relief.
It was a total immersion in light, brightness, warmth, peace, security. It just immediately went into this beautiful, bright light. It's difficult to describe. Matter of fact, it's impossible to describe. Verbally, it cannot be expressed. It's something which becomes you and you become it. It was eternity. It's like I was always there and I will always be there. That my existence on earth was just a very brief instant.
I stood there in this gorgeous meadow, and I remember that the light was different from the light here on earth. And I remember the sky was very blue. The colors were extraordinary. There were flowers blooming all around, and the flowers had colors that I had never seen before. I could see a soft light glowing inside every living thing. Just this beautiful soft light. And I think that I was seeing the life inside of everything.
My mother, who had been dead for 15 years, was right at the tunnel. I can still see it. And she was beautiful and whole and vibrant and healthy, and she did not die that way. She was healed, and her arms were outstretched to me, and we communicated telepathically, but I thought, and she received, and she thought, and I heard, and I said, I love you, and she said, I know.
My grandmother was there. Now, she had been dead for 14 years, and I had never once believed that anybody existed beyond their death. And my grandmother just put her arms around me like she did when I was a child and pulled me into her chest. And the next thing I knew, we were re-experiencing all 19 years we were on the planet together. She died when I was 19. And I wasn't just experiencing these memories through my eyes or my heart. I could feel her too. I experienced everything she experienced, and I have a feeling that she experienced everything I did about the love we shared for each other. She told me, not with her mouth, but heart to heart, that she would always be there waiting for me.
As I entered into there, my dad was ahead of me. He looked wonderful to me. He looked, just at the prime of his life. He looked very happy. And he just said, you're not going to be lost or confused any longer, but you need to go back. It's not your time. When it is, I'll be here for you.
There was a picture placed in my head of a memory of my original agreement of why I had come to Earth to begin with.
And they said, no, you can't stay. And I says, you're not going to send me back. And then they got me on the one thing that they could have got me on. They said, you have not fulfilled your duties and responsibilities. You have not fulfilled your karmic duty.
The light spoke one more time and said, no, you must return, you have a purpose. And that word purpose just resonated through my body.
And I got the information is that you're back now, but you're back for a specific purpose, not just to enjoy life. You should be helping other people. You should be serving people.
There is no way that the universe, that creation could possibly unfold without you fulfilling your purpose.
Judgment and punishment are things that humans do. We judge ourselves, we judge each other, we punish ourselves, we punish each other. God doesn't do that. God just loves us. No matter what we do, God knows how hard it is here. God admires us for being willing to come here and give it a go. We have so much tremendous support, we just can't see it. But if you tune in, you can feel all the love around you all the time. Remember to ask for help because it is always there.
And I saw every human being on earth individualized, and I saw them loved in the same way that I was loved. And I knew that every single human being was loved in the same way. But the difference between the human beings and me was that they couldn't see. They were still in the world with a veil, not knowing the immensity of love. Couldn't know it, not built into the structure, but still loved nonetheless.
The most amazing thing was that for the first time in my life, I felt this incredible feeling of unconditional love. I didn't have to do anything to deserve it. I was loved just because I existed.
There was no way in this world that I could ever be lost, that it was impossible for me to fall into a crack in the universe somewhere and never be heard from again. I just knew that I was utterly safe and that I always had been.
I was just in awe of everything that I was witnessing. And this light was moving. All these fragments were moving like they had one mind.
This energy made up everything that exists and flowed through it. The plants, the flowers were communicating with me and I was communicating back. Everything just seemed to be connected.
The joy is in knowing without any question whatsoever that we are all one. Everything is one. All of life is one.
We are everything. It's one whole. We are part of it. It always has been, always will be.
And it was that feeling again of reconnecting with knowledge that I had once had and wondering how on earth did I